Good morning, Tesla fans. Aaron Rath here with Rat's Tesla. And today we're going to do a little bit of a different video. As you can see behind me, we have temporarily added to the Tesla family at the Rath house. We have a demo car today from our local service center in Loveland, Colorado. And we have a 2023 Tesla Model X. And we are going to do a little video today where we do a comparison / walkthrough of this Model X to my Model Y. You've seen me do lots of videos of my Model Y, but we're going to kind of touch on this Model X a little bit and what is different about this. If you're in the market for a Tesla and you're not sure which one you want to get, you know you want an SUV type vehicle, but what do you want? Do you want the bigger Model X or do you want the smaller Model Y? Well, today's video, we're going to talk about those differences, and let's get started right now. All right, first off, the biggest difference, obviously, is size. If you look at the two, I see if I can get the two together. I don't think I quite can. Well, there we are. So you can tell that the Model X is quite a bit larger of a vehicle. Now, keep in mind, my Model Y is the performance model, and it's also sitting on coilovers, and it's lowered a little bit. So that kind of gives it a little bit of a deceiving look. But overall, size-wise, when we start talking about length and height, I'm going to put all the dimensions on the screen of both of these vehicles so that you can see the differences. But overall, the Model X is a bigger vehicle. And I will tell you, from a driver's standpoint, and maybe I'm just being a little bit biased, but I really like to drive my Model Y. It's a lot of fun to drive. I've got it set up the way I like it, and it's a lot of fun to drive. The Model Y, or the Model X, excuse me, is fun to drive, but it has very much a family SUV feel to it. Now, this is the standard range model, and so it doesn't have the Plaid. It does have insane mode and all of that stuff, but it doesn't have Plaid, so maybe that would make a difference. But it just feels bigger. It feels like a big SUV, like a family type vehicle. Now, I will tell you from a passenger standpoint, my kids rode in the X last night. We had it last night for an overnight demo, and you can do the same thing. Just contact your local service center, and you can do overnight demos instead of just a half-hour test drive. But my kids will tell you that this car, the Model Y, on a road trip, while the seats are comfortable, and we call them the marshmallows, while they're comfortable, they are not as comfortable as riding in this Model X. Now, the Model X that I got is the 6-seat version in black. So you can see that it has 2 captain's chairs in the back, and then it also has 2 seats in the rear. Now, that's great for road trips, but what does that do for carrying items? If I had to carry 6 people in my car, well, first off, I can't carry 6 in the Model Y. The most I could carry is 5. Comfortably, it's probably 4. We tend to ride with the center console down in the middle just as a barrier, but we only have 2 kids, and they're both older and grown up. So, but what does that do for storage? So let's say we had 4 and we wanted to go on a road trip. So in the Tesla Model Y, we have a pretty good amount of storage in the trunk. And then to top it off, and here's my Lessy Messy. Now I'm going to tell you, as I go through my video today, I'm going to throw out quite a few sponsors because I have done a lot of things in my Model Y that have upgraded it, that have added items to it that I wanted, that I thought were cool, and you have an opportunity to do the same. I have links for all of my vendors in the description down below, as well as the discount codes that go with them. And I'll throw out, as I go through, who I got items from, so if you want those same items, you can get them. This Lessy Messy carpet in the back here, this is fantastic rear cover for the rear area. It sticks very well, but it also comes out and you throw it in the washing machine and the dryer. But back to storage. So I have the sub trunk area that I can use in the Tesla Model Y, and I have the big back end on top of the frunk. Now the frunk in the Tesla Model Y is a little bit smaller than the Model X. So there's the frunk. So now let's go right to a frunk comparison on the Model X. You can see it is much wider and much deeper on the X, and gives you just a little bit more storage room. Now, when we start talking about the rear end, the frunk, these rear seats do lay down, but it's not going to be as big of an area. I would lay them down, but honestly, I can't figure out how to do it. I need to read the manual. I just want to show you how it is done. It's not that hard. So on the side here, I don't know if you can see it, there's this little kind of like overlay of a button. If you push that, the headrest goes down and then the seat just pushes down. So if I do that on both sides and push the seat down, now you can see I've got a pretty good flat area in the back to put items. I still don't think it's as big as the Model Y, but it's big enough to put some suitcases in. Now the hard part is getting it back up. You can't just pull on this. You've got to press the button and pull it back up. So if you don't have really long arms like I do, it's going to be a very difficult thing to do from the back. You might have to do it from the front. So just wanted to show that. But nonetheless, the rear area is probably just a little bit smaller than in the Model Y. There is a sub-trunk area, and it is absolutely huge. So I drop stuff down there. It is such a big area. There's compartments on the left side. On the right side, you got a nice little netted area for that. But as far as passenger comfortability, it is super comfortable. My kids said that they would much rather take this car on a road trip than the Model Y, because I mean, look, I'm 6'1" and I'm sitting in this seat super comfortably. My daughter has it back all the way. This seat would be in a good position for a passenger, even myself, and I've still got plenty of room. Now the driver's seat is how I have it set for me driving. I don't think, well, I could sit back here. It just wouldn't be super comfortable. The nice thing though, is this thing is easy to get in and out of for passengers because of these doors. Okay, so let's move on from storage and let's just look at overall what's going on with this 2023 Model X. Now this car does have the hardware 4. We'll see if you can pick up the red in the camera there. I don't think you can, but it does have the spaced out and the non-camera in the middle. And I will tell you that even my wife, who I did not tell that this Model X had upgraded cameras, the first time I turned on the blinker, she was like, wow, that camera clarity is amazing. So if we go through, let's go ahead and close all the doors, which I think is amazing. It's so cool to be able to do that with this car, to be able to close the doors with a button. That is such a cool feature. You can't do that on the Model Y. You got to walk around and close them. But back to what I was saying, if I turn on a blinker, I'm going to show you the clarity in the colors of this camera. I will go back and show it to you in my Model Y, which has hardware 3 in it. But this hardware 4 in this Model X, the cameras are just super clear. Now the problem is you can't get FSD for it yet. They're still working on that. Even Elon says that hardware 4 FSD is a much harder thing to do, and it's going to take a little bit. But I think that when it happens, it's going to be amazing. I mean, those blinkers are amazing. If you look at the rear view camera, I'm going to get the card. If we look at the rear view camera, oh, I can't go because the front isn't closed. Let me close the front real quick. If we look at this rear view camera, it is just amazing. I mean, the clarity of it, it doesn't have as much of a fisheye. I mean, you can see a little bit of the fisheye around the edges here, but it's not as bad, in my opinion, as the Hardware 3. These left and right repeater cameras are just so awesome. I mean, it's amazing. Now, I will tell you, one thing I like about the Model X is the fact that it has the normal console in front. Makes it a lot easier to see. It doesn't protrude as much as a normal car, but it has this this front display in front of you. I don't mind it. I don't mind it without it, but I like having that in front of me. And you'll see when we take a peek in the Model Y that I've added some stuff to give that. But I will tell you that I'm not sure. This does not have ultrasonic sensors. It's vision only. And it's saying right now, I don't know if you can see it, but up there it says to the rear, I have 13 inches, 14 inches going back and forth between the two. There's nothing behind me. If you look at this camera, there's nothing behind me. So I'm not sure what that's seeing. But as we back up, you can see that it says it says we're about 3 feet from the Model Y. We might be a little bit more than that. Let's go forward a little bit and let's get to about where it says we're about a foot away. And then let's go out and look. So it says right now we're about a foot away from the Model Y. And let's take a look and see exactly how far away we are. So you can tell that its 1 foot is not quite 1 foot. It's probably about 3 feet. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. Not if you want to keep the front end of your car looking nice and not all dinged up. But if you're pulling into a garage and it's a tight squeeze, that's probably not very helpful on getting the car into the right spot. So now let's hop into the Model Y and let's take a look at some of the cameras. And I'm going to walk around and close the doors real quick because when I put it in reverse, obviously everything has to be closed. And you see, I have to walk around and close all the doors. I can't press one fancy button and close all the doors. Although I did put a power frunk in my Tesla Model Y. You can get that from Handshow. Discount code below, Rats Tesla, that'll get you that. So that's kind of nice. And then as we hop in here, you can see the cockpit is just a little bit different. To me, this cockpit is very much sportier than the Model X. It has a sportier feel, I should say. Maybe it's because of the updates that I've made. I mean, I've put a new steering wheel and a matching dash in. I got those from Fusion Motorsports. With the code Rats Tesla, you'll save $50. They have more than just this Spectre carbon fiber. They have regular carbon fiber in both matte and glossy finish. So check their website out. Their link is in the description down below. And you can see that my screen right now, if I press the accelerator or the brake pedal, it kind of puts us into on mode. And then I put us in drive. You can see I'm not at that mark yet. I'm going to pull forward. Mine has ultrasonic sensors. And I'm kind of just watching this. So now you can see we're within that range. We're going to drive to about, we'll say, let's just go just a little bit more. Let's say 18 inches. So we're supposed to be at 18 inches away from the car. And with ultrasonic sensors, I would say we are about 18 inches from the front of the car. If I had a tape measure out from this ultrasonic sensor that's right here to the front of the bumper on the Model X, that's about 18 inches. So the ultrasonic sensors definitely get you closer, but I mean, they're working on the vision. They're going to dial that in. So now if we put it in reverse, you can see that this camera just isn't as clear. And I've got a wicked glare here. Let me see if I can close the windows and fix that. Nope, looks like that's coming from above. So we'll see if we can change our angle here. All right, there we go. So you can see that these cameras just aren't as clear as the Model X's. This blinker camera, the greens just aren't as green as they were in the Model X. The rear view camera, they're not as bad. It's got the same fisheye feel to it. It's just not as big of a field of view either. The field of view for the Model Y, if I put the Model X over here, the field of view, you can see that the field of view on the Model X with the hardware 4 is just a little bit bigger than the Model Y, where the Model Y is just a little bit narrower and the colors just aren't as there. Now, Elon still sings high praise for the Model Y, or for the hardware 3 being able to run FSD very good, but you know, it's hardware 4. When it happens, it could make a difference. Now you'll see also, I talked about the screen up front. I got to go back. I have a screen that I added. This is the new screen from Hansho, the 6.86 inch. Very good screen. Hansho makes this. Again, discount code down below. I made a video on this a couple videos ago. I'll put a link up above so you can check that video out. All right, now one last thing I want to hit on before we start talking about, or before we wrap this video up, is the center console. So on a Model Y, you have this front portion, and then I have another divider in here. So this goes pretty deep. I mean, I'll put my arm all the way down. So it goes just above my wrist, and it goes all the way back to here. You have your dual phone chargers right here, which a lot of people struggle getting their iPhone 14s to charge on. So I have the MagBack charger right here on my screen. Again, discount code down below. And then you have 2 cup holders, and you have this area for storage. It's pretty big. It goes about that far in the front and maybe a hand depth. So you can get quite a bit of stuff in there. I added lights. I don't think you can see them. You can see them in the footwells, and you might be able to see them back here. But that was one of my latest videos too. You can check that video out on my channel as well. While we're walking over to the X, this would be a perfect chance for you to go down below and hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. Drop a comment on what you'd like to see next. I'm going to see about renting some vehicles. Maybe we get something else that we can compare to the Model Y. But, you know, let's take a look at the center storage now in the Model X. So the Model X has all kinds of contraptions here. So I can push that one back. I can push this one back, and you can see down in here we've got the J1772 adapter. You know, it goes all the way to the front. Nice big area. And then you also saw that I was able to push the cup holders back. So the cup holders retract out of the way to make this opening much larger. Again, 2 chargers here for your phones. And I will tell you, my iPhone 14 Pro Max with the case on it actually charged a little bit easier in this than it does in mine. So not sure if this pad is a little bit different, but it charges pretty well in here. So then these all retract. So this opens up, then this one will open up to match it. And then this one opens up. The only thing I don't like is that these don't match up. So it kind of looks unfinished. I kind of wish that I could bring this top one all the way back and close this off and just give it a clean finished look. And I will tell you, do not set a card on here that you like, because if you set something here, it will slide down in that crack and you will have a heck of a time getting it back. You will have to take a lot of things apart. And then lastly, you have this center console area. It's not as deep as the one in the Model Y. It doesn't go as far forward, but it's still very deep. And this one is true magnetic. I don't know if you can hear it. Hear it click shut. And then you can see I can open it from anywhere and open it. On the Model Y, there's a button up here I have to push. Not a big deal, but so now let's quick open up. I want to point out one other thing that my kids really liked about traveling in the Model X. And that is this rear screen. This rear screen, they were watching videos while we were driving. Now, the only bummer part that I don't like, and maybe I just need to figure out how to do it, is the rest of the car had to listen to it. But they were watching videos. So on a long road trip, it's very easy to open up and watch a video and go to a channel, watch YouTube, watch Netflix, watch whatever you want to watch. You know, you can go search and find your favorite YouTuber and then subscribe to the channel by hitting that subscribe button in the back of this Model X. That's a very cool thing to do. And you can see that Rats Tesla, we got a lot of cool videos going. So make sure you get over there and subscribe. But, you know, in the Model Y, typically it does not have that rear screen. Now, mine does because I've added it. But typically in the rear, you don't have that rear screen. I've added this one from my friends at EV Base. And this one's a little bit different. It's not as easy to use as the one in the Model X. This one has a few different features that you can use. You can also watch videos while you're driving in this one. It takes a little bit more to do. You have to have your phone connected to it, but you can still watch videos if you want to check that out. Again, I have a video in my description and you can check that out. See, we're not connected to the internet because my phone's not hotspotted to this. So this one's a little bit different, where the other one you can just kind of connect right to it. But you know, that's a great addition that you can make to your Model Y. So as we back out here and we close all the doors on the Model X so you can get one last look. And I will tell you, this demo one is having some issues with these doors. I will make sure I point that out. But nonetheless, let's take one last look at these two cars together so you can get a little bit of a comparison, and you can see that the Model Y is definitely smaller than the Model X. Still a great option, still a good family car, and you can see that you can take this car that is priced probably about $40,000 less. I'm not going to quote the prices. I will put today's prices for each of these on the screen down below as configured with the red paint and the black paint, so you can see the price difference. But you can then add probably $3,000 worth of accessories to the Model Y to make it like the Model X, or make it similar to the Model X, if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for the rear screen and the front display in front of the driver, if you want to get a yoke, you can get a yoke. But there are many ways to make that happen. All right, so that'll do it for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you've watched all the way in to the end, thanks for sticking around and watching the whole video. Make sure you get down below and you hit the subscribe button. Drop a comment for us. Let us know what you think. And hit that like button. Doesn't cost you anything, but it helps this video show up in algorithms. I know I didn't hit on all of the essential items from the Model X, but I will tell you, you can go on to the website, go to your local service center, ask to do a test drive. And if you really want to drive it for more, ask to do an overnight drive. I picked this one up last night at 5:30 and I have to take it back at 10 a.m. this morning. So you can get a pretty good demo drive. You can get a pretty good feel for how these cars will fit in your family. But I will tell you, either way, you are not going to be disappointed. If you go with the Model Y or the Model X, you are not going to be disappointed. These are both fun cars to drive. Great cars to have in your family arsenal of vehicles. Good road trip cars. We've got a road trip coming up in the Model Y that we're going to take, that we take every year to South Dakota from Colorado. And I will tell you, it's a lot of fun to drive, a lot of fun to take on a road trip. But I think that the Model X would be a great road trip vehicle if that's what you're looking for. But thanks for watching today. This has been a lot of fun to compare these two vehicles and see the differences between the two and kind of understand the Model X versus the Model Y. My kids asked me, Dad, are you going to get rid of the Y and get an X? And I said, you know what? I don't think I am, because I like the sportiness of my Model Y. I like all the things that I've done to it. But I could see in the future, maybe 2-3 years, adding the Model X to the Model Y family, maybe replacing my wife's car with the Model X and going from there. But you never know. It is a pricier vehicle. It is quite a bit more. And do you really need that? My wife and I are about to be empty nesters. Do we really need a vehicle that big? Maybe when grandchildren come into play, but that hopefully is quite a few years down the road before we see that. But either way, I think either one of these, whichever one you decide to go with, is going to be a great addition to your garage. Thanks for watching today. Get out, go drive, be safe, and we will catch you in the next video.